There's something about being in the water that's freeing and sort of like stops me in time and takes me back to feeling like I'm a kid again. This home is a very personal expression of who I am and forces us to pay attention and to slow down and to admire and sort of have a reverence for the natural world in a way that we could never imagine. My name's Jamie Bush, and I'm an interior designer. I spend most of my time in LA, but we have this magical little houseboat that we come back to every so often here on Long Island. Our family has deep roots here. We had family farms here. So my great uncle and my great grandfather, his father, had dairy farms on Long Island. And my sister and my father still have a farm here in South Haven, which is really close to where we are here. This location and also the way that we sort of reimagine this place is very much harking back to my childhood, growing up on Fire Island. Over there, there's no vehicles. Everything is boardwalk and you're barefoot. My parents, in 1960, they bought this crazy little tiny beach house, this unwinterized sort of shack on Fire Island in this neighborhood called Davis Park that we would go to as kids, which evoked a total freedom of running around basically just with a bathing suit on for months on end. That house at the time was very much an inspiration for this place. Having this as an adult is such a privilege and such a refuge for myself and my partner Jarrell, because it's completely detached from reality. You're incredibly affected by the shifts in winds and the weathers or a hurricane or intense sunshine. We bought the houseboat about 9 years ago. We found it. It was in rough shape. It was really dated, from the 70s. We stripped it down to the open framing, very much like Frank Gehry would strip down existing buildings at the beginning of his career and bring texture and natural dimension, but then also adding plywood and cedar that is very much a language that you would find in these Fire Island beach houses by Andrew Geller and Horace Gifford that have a humility and an honest integrity of these simple, almost industrial hardware store materials. And so the kitchen was made backwards by finding IKEA cabinets that were in stainless steel and then capping them with a natural sort of walnut slab countertop. It's almost kit parts of finding sort of ready-made objects or things that could be refashioned into something custom that would functionally work here. For a punch of color that's very reminiscent of the colors in my parents' beach house, we brought in this bright yellow Magistretti lamp. Is such a great sort of iconic pop of color. The kitchen and dining area was raised because there's a bilge underneath it that holds the pumps and the tanks. The living room steps down, which is such a great feature. And what we ended up doing is sort of stepping into this design and building in all these day beds in the living room, and then stepping back up into this floating dock beyond. All the sofas are made from twin beds. We wanted the idea that we could sleep 9 people here in a crunch. And so we upholstered the mattresses and made toppers, but then built them all around this sort of set dimension. So everything could be sort of easily changed out, but easily sleep 3 people in the living room. The design of our main bedroom was very much the idea to conjure up an image of the bento box, a warm, luminous, glowing, wooden, crafted space that had a very low ceiling. And by bringing your horizon line down with the slatted bench, plays with the sense of scale and the height of the room. One heroic element is this incredible Castiglione ceiling light that is vintage, that they no longer make this scale anymore, but it really becomes this sort of square moon in the center of the space. The back bedroom, it's sort of a multifunctional room because it's a bedroom, office. We have some turn-of-the-century carved Long Island geese that were from my great uncle's dairy farm in East Hampton. Originally it was 2 stories, and we put a 3rd story on, which we called the doghouse, to capture these incredible views of the wetlands. We wanted to create the deck of a tugboat, almost the prow of a ship, of where the captain would sort of steer the vessel. That's another multifunctional space that we created with restaurant supply, stainless steel sink and refrigerator so we could have drinks up on the rooftop. And then there's a built-in day bed, another place where somebody could sleep and or crash for the night. Living on a houseboat has really taught us the fragility of our time here and the impermanence of this place. This may not last forever, so we try to make the most of it. Leaving here is always a strange experience in the sense that, unlike any other place I've ever lived in, we worry about her, about Xanadu, about this vessel that is fragile and precarious, unlike a house on land. And so it's very much a feeling of like a parental sort of aspect of leaving your child alone on their own to fend for themselves. So it's always bittersweet when we have to sort of say goodbye.